Good morning, dear students. So we will be learning the most important, all five modules important questions from the module MW. There is a microwave and antenna which you will be have which you have test on Monday. So this concepts, whatever questions whichever I am telling, is very important for the examination, and you have to learn those topics. So those who are new to the channel, like, share, and subscribe. So we will be discussing the most important topics like this only for all, and we will be guiding for the placements too. So first we will be learning. So the module one important topics. I will be just mentioning what are the important topics which will be coming for the examination, since I have to do module 1 to 5 in the one session. For this explanations and detailed videos, you will be getting in the crash course. Module 1, what it will be telling, you have to compulsorily learn the derivation of transmission line equations in the form of voltage and current. So this is very much important. You have to apply KVL, KCL, and you will be getting voltage equation, and you will be getting the current equation. So based on this voltage and current equations, you have to form, and you will be getting the final equations, that will be the voltage and current equations. So after learning that, so here I have not mentioned the important topic. So if you refer the textbook, gun diode will be the important questions they have asked in most of the papers. So you have to learn the gun diode. So that's construction, working, and principle. That is also very much important. So the next important topics that they will be focusing will be the problems related to the transmission line equations. So you have to so in transmission line equation, that is the characteristic impedance and the propagation constant. Hope so you people know what is R, G, F, L, and C. So they would have given. So you have to use your calculator. So conversion of polar form to the rectangular, rectangular to polar based on the conventions. So you have to solve. So this will be a formula for, so this will be the characteristic impedance formula, that is root of R plus j omega L by G plus j omega C. So next, propagation constant is multiplication. Next, so the next important topic will be the characteristics of Smith chart. So in most of the papers, they have not asked the Smith chart plotting of the graph, but they have asked you as to write the characteristic of the Smith chart. How do you plot? So there are 7 to 8, 10 rules which you have to remember. So that rules have been given over here. So you can learn this main rules and write in your examination. Seen. So the characteristic impedance, reflection coefficient, transmission coefficient, SWR. So to practice more, if you want more problems, you need to focus on reflection coefficient, that is the RC. Next, transmission coefficient TC, and the propagation constant PC, and the SWR. SWR means the standing wave ratio. For everything there is a there is a formula. So you need to remember and solve those problems. Based on that, you will be getting the marks. So don't get any mistakes over here. So this is very much important. So after doing this, so they might give you to define the reflection coefficient and express the reflection coefficient in the terms of load impedance and the characteristic impedance. So this is very much important, this derivation. So this much you need to learn from the module 1 to be on the safer side. So to summarize, so what are the important topics in module 1, students? So in module 1, you have to learn, the first one will be the gun diode. So gun diode. Later you have to learn the transmission line equations, that is from the transmission line equations, that is the voltage and the current. So voltage and the current equation you have to derive. apply KVL and KCL, and you will be getting. So you need to learn the learn the properties of Smith chart. So properties of Smith chart, and you have to practice problems on whatever I told, the transmission coefficient, reflection coefficient, propagation constant, and SWR. So these four topics, so those are very much facing difficulty to study this module. Focus mainly on these four topics so that you will be on the safer side. So the next important topic from next, we will be going to the module 2. So in module 2, the most important topic will be the magic T. So first you learn the properties of S matrix. So properties of S matrix for matched network, how it will be, for a symmetric, how it will be. So if you write the properties correctly, you will be getting 6 marks. Might be they will be giving for 6 marks or more than that. So you need to draw the diagram and explain. So then you focus mainly on the T shape, H, and magic T. T, H, and magic T. So practice mainly on magic T. Magic T is very much important. Learn this. So the derivation, you have to use the S matrix representation and learn the derivation. Okay. So next, coming to isolators, circulators. So those are very much important. So isolators and circulators. So two-port networks. So this questions you learn. So whatever the notes are given, so you need to learn. So this magic T is very important, and you learn the circulators and isolators. Circulators and isolators is very much important from the module 2. So summarizing, so you have to learn the properties of S matrix. So multi-port network derivation. So you have to learn the multi-port network magic T, and you have to practice the diagrams of circulators and isolators. So this is very much important from the module 2. So next, so same, see how you have to do. So every step is properly explained in the notes. Do follow the notes and you will be getting the complete marks out of it. So in module 3 coming, so module 3 is somewhat easy and manageable because from here antennas start where more theory concepts will be there. So microwaves is little bit problematic, whereas antennas is having very less problems and more theory involved in it. So derive the characteristic impedance of the microstrip lines. So this is very much important. Mainly practice on the formulas. So what is the characteristic impedance? So how Z naught will be looking. So there are formulas given in your textbook and notes. So refer my notes. You need to write till, yeah, that is 337h divided by root epsilon r into W. So just whenever remind, I'm giving you a reminder. So in any EC subject, so if you are writing the formula and if you are getting some equation, final equation, try to highlight in a box so the invigilator will not search for your answer. So and try to explain what are the terms over here. What is H, what is W, what is epsilon r, what is C. So this will be giving them. So your main intention is to write lengthy with whatever the necessary conditions and whatever the main equations are there that you need to be highlighted. So next comes so this is very much important. They have asked in most of the papers definition of the antenna parameters. So they will be giving you some definitions. Mainly these definitions are important. That is the beam area, directivity, radiation intensity, and the beam efficiency. So these four definitions you will have to learn properly in the examination. So next comes, so you have to learn the parallel strip lines. So parallel strip lines, what is the equation of the characteristic impedance? So this is the parallel strip lines, and just learn the problems. So they might give you simple problems. If you know the formula, just substitution and try along with units you have to write down. Okay. So impedance means you have to write in the Mo unit. Okay, so next, very important, losses in microstrip lines. So what are the losses in the microstrip lines? This is asked in most of the paper. That is the ohmic loss, radiative loss, quality factor loss. So everything is important for examination. So phase transmission formula is also very much important in module 3. So in module 3, to summarize, what are the topics which you need to learn to so that you score good marks will be, that is the characteristic impedance of microstrip lines, definitions of that antenna parameters, that is beam area, radiative intensity, directivity, gain, okay, those things. And third, you have to learn the losses in the microstrip lines, and problems. So you learn the main formula. If they give you any formula based question, you can solve easily, and the freeze transmission formula, and along with derivation and problems is important in module 3. Hope so all are getting whatever I am telling. So the module 4 is very easy, students. So you need to learn the directivity. So prove that directivity of a source where, so you need to prove the directivity of the source where there is, it can be a number, can be expressed as D is equal to 2n into 2 directivity. So you need to calculate the directivity and the power. So those are important. So obtain the field expression of two isotropic sources of same amplitude and phase. So same amplitude and phase means you will be getting the answer equation as, so the equation as the final equation. So here you have of same direction and same amplitude. Explain the concept of matrix multiplication pattern. Okay. So the radiation resistance of a short electric dipole is very much important for the examination, and show this and all you don't learn. So this you learn from the module 4. So in module 4, you mainly focus on the short dipole derivation. You need to focus on the directivity and power. So, and you need to learn about the isotropic antennas of same length and same amplitude, that derivation. The next comes the module 5. So in module 5, it's mostly the electric field and magnetic field for a small loop. You learn the derivation. So after that, what is horn antenna, and explain the types of horn antenna. This is very important. So you need to write about the rectangular, E-plane, H-plane, pyramidal, exponentially tapered, how you will be designing along with the equations. You try to learn this. So next comes the radiation resistance of the small loop antenna. So, and you learn about the Yagi-Uda antenna, how it's been constructed, and explain the process of working of the Yagi-Uda antenna. So, these are the important topics from the microwave and antennas, which you have exam on Monday. That is on, I feel, 31st. So 31st is Sunday. First you will be having, 1st June you will be writing microwave and antenna, the backlog subject. So I wish all of you to score well in this examination. And if you have any doubts, and if you want to join the courses so that you want to clear your backlogs and get a good and decent marks, you can, you're free, you're free you're free to contact me. So I will contact me through the WhatsApp. So I will be telling the details of the course. In the course, everything you will be explained in using handwritten notes. So we will be going slowly and clear. Okay, children. So all the best for your examination. Thank you.